Hey guys, today I'm excited to bring you some ATP 7 spoilers from the newest Alpha Trion Protocols Transformers set. This is a set that will be coming out soon, and I don't know if you guys saw the video Dan put out. They will be actually part of Season 7 as like a beta test, so we will be able to see the cards going forward and see if anything needs to be updated, etc. If stuff needs to be made stronger. But for now, this is what the cards are going to functionally be for the most part. There just might be a few stat point changes, and I'm excited to show them to you guys today. So, surprise, there's a webcam here. So, I want to just thank everyone for who watches these videos. I appreciate it a lot. Currently between setups, which is why I get access to this camera here, is because I'm not using my primary setup. But again, I just wanted to thank you guys. We put a lot of hard work into this set, and I hope you enjoy. So to kick things off, I'm going to start with Hound, Rugged Soldier. So Hound is going to be a pretty cool 5-star being introduced into the game. We saw with 6B Moonracer was a 5-star we introduced that had a big impact on the metagame with a lot of leader decks coming back. Hound I expect to do similar things because, well, for one, he's a melee Autobot, so he works with Cup from 6B for Titan 1. He's just another cheap option to pair with him. As well as he is also an aggressive Energized support option, which we don't have a lot of, and we were kind of missing more of those pieces. Also, he fits 2 traits. He's both melee and ranged. So things like Sturdy Javelin, you can get a +2 attack on him when attacking in alt mode where he has bold, or you can throw it for damage in bot mode if you need to just finish someone off later in the game. Plus he wants white pips in your deck anyway, so probably should be playing Sturdies with him. He does have tough 1, so if you did want to play him a little bit with your splash blues and like an aggressive shell, you can get access to those splash blues. But I think he's going to shine really in like aggressive energized strategies because the bot mode ability is when he attacks and you flip at least white, orange, green, each player draws a card, and then your opponent puts a card from their hand into their KO area, very similar to the the Astro Train spaceship mode, where he lets each player basically draw a card, but the opponent has to lose one from their hand. But the fact that it wants orange, green, white means that things like Bashing Shield are wanted. So because of that, you're going to want to play a good amount of white pips to make sure you can trigger that, especially since he doesn't have innate bold. And yeah, but like I said, I think he's just a good aggressive energized filler. He works really well with Cup. He's good for Nemesis. That means you can play something like Nemesis Prime, Hound, Warpath now and have 3 actual energized pieces. And that's 5, 7, 5, 7, 11. So you get 2 star cards there, or 2 strats if you wanted. Obviously you're going to play the truck mission, so that's free. So you still, you get like 2 Bullseye Aegis in there, or 2 Never Give Up, Nothing to Lose. Both of those would be good because you get the white and the orange on the same pip. Pretty good. So yeah, I think Hound is going to be a staple moving forward for 5 drops. He's a common too for Junkion, so he's another way to KO cards in Junkion besides just skids. So I expect we'll see a lot of Hound moving forward. Speaking of moving forward, we're going to keep trucking along here because all my spoilers are going to be truck themed. We got Gears. For those who don't know, when Junkion was just starting out, I was all about Gears. The Sabotage one specifically, just making cool decks around that, since that's not really an effect you have anywhere else in the game. But Gears really needed another card because the other one basically was super polarizing. Either it did nothing or it locked the opponent out of the game until they killed him. So it just had a really negative connotation towards it because people just, it was either a 0 or an 11, and it just wasn't very fun to play against. But Gears is a really cool character. So we decided to make a new one, and this one is another dual trait character. He's melee and specialist. The other thing to note about these dual traits is we kind of saw in previous spoilers from the set, plot actions are going to be a thing, and they care about having specific traits, so getting these dual trait characters is really good for those. But Gears is going to be a truck melee 6-star, so another cheap support character. Good for um, certain strategies, which we'll see a lot more of when that comes in with his bot mode. But his alt mode to start is 3-11-1, tough 1. So not very offensive in alt mode. Has tough 1 to help keep him alive a little bit. When you flip to this mode, look at the top card of your deck. You may scrap it, then draw a card. So this is kind of, for those of you who play Magic, this is basically when you flip to him, you get to play basically the card Consider, which is exactly this effect. Look at the top of your deck. You may scrap it, otherwise then draw a card. So you get to choose if you want to draw what's on top of your deck. If you don't like it, you get rid of it. If you like it, you just put it in your hand. Pretty neat card selection. We don't really have that option too much in the game. Moving on to his bot mode, however, we got 3-11-1 again. He's a specialist now. He has focus 1, which is really important for his stat line, and I'll get into that in a second. When one or more of your cards is scrapped, this gets +1/+1 until end of turn, up to +3/+3. So why this is important is because with the focus, it focus scraps, and it doesn't. His ability doesn't say when one or more of your cards is scrapped from your hand specifically. It says just scrapped. So each card you focus away is +1/+1. However, if you have something like System Reboot or Treasure Hunt, those scrap multiple cards at the same time. So they only give you one instance of +1/+1. So just keep that in mind. But if you play, say, a weapon on him, or an armor on him, and your opponent scraps it on their turn, he gets +1 defense when they're attacking him. Then you can focus, and now all of a sudden he's 3 defense. Or when you're attacking, you can play something like a Photon Charge on him, which is a card that doesn't see a lot of love except in like Sound Blaster decks. And you could attack with him, sack your Photon Charge for +3. Then he gets +1 because that was scrapped. So now he's at 7. And then you could focus another thing away, and all of a sudden he's at 8 just off of your Photon Charge. He also has Energized 3, which is at the end of your turn. If you have no cards in your hand, draw a card. This is really good for the Hot Rod decks. I actually think something like a 4-wide Hot Rod deck could be pretty good in Classic, maybe even T1. Because again, he is a melee character. So if you wanted to play him with Cup, you could. Other things you could do, Alita, obviously, if you want to do Heroic Spotlight. So there's a lot of options to build with this guy. He has a lot of unique things going on, especially with that scrapped ability, because things like confidence, all that. Him being a specialist, you can play your Field Comm, and Field Comm actually scraps the top card of your deck before you play it, so that gives you an additional +1 the turn you play it. So you can actually get really bursty damage out of this little 6-star dude. And with the focus, he's basically a 4-11-2, which is on par for the stat line. I really like this card a lot. I think he has a lot going for him. There's cool combo potential. The cap means that it's not going to get too out of control. But there's a lot of stuff that just incidentally focuses, so his stat line is a lot more deceiving than it actually looks. I'm looking forward to building with him. I hope you guys are too. This character is like really sweet and a nice, unique addition to the game. So that's going to be it for the characters I have. I do have one more battle card, which is really special for me because, for those who don't know, I believe the first video on my channel was the Nemesis Prime spoiler. And that card is Dark Armaments. So Dark Armaments is specifically Orange Nemesis Prime support. Nemesis was designed to be an aggressive character, and in the end, right now he was kind of lacking in the aggressive deck department. He was much better in like blue shells with the truck mission, trying to rely on just going the long game, especially against other leader decks and maximizing on that card advantage. Which meant that his deal 1 damage to himself for bold 2 kind of didn't get used, which is a little bit sad. But this is hoping to change that and make him lean more into that aggressive angle. I mean, we saw Anointed Blade earlier too. Check out Jason's article on that. It's We have a lot of aggressive support coming, and Nemesis now with Hound, with Gears even, you can build some sort of an aggressive shell with him and not feel too weak. Um, Dark Armaments is going to be a weapon, like I said, specifically for Nemesis. It's got Energized 2, he gets +1 defense, so it turns from a orange primary laser into an orange ion blaster of Optimus Prime, except it can go on anyone as long as you had Nemesis on your starting team. And then if you have Energized 4, it says when the upgraded character attacks, do 1 damage to the defender. Then the defender, if the defender is a leader, it also gets +1 attack additionally. So it goes to a 3 attack weapon into leaders that also would give you the defense. And you zap the defender as well. Really cool with this card is that Energized 2 and 4 bridge the gaps between Nemesis's other Energized abilities. So in alt mode, he has Energized 1 to do the when a card is KO'd, either get attack or draw a card. And Energized 3 in bot mode, when he's battling a leader, he gets +2/+2. So Dark Armaments fills that gap between 1 and 3 by going 2 and 4. Which means he's always getting some sort of reward, especially with the truck mission where it KOs cards when people die. So you go, oh, 1 character died. All right, Energize 1's online. Now I'm gonna play this battle card that's gonna KO something. All right, Energize 2's online. Now I'm going to someone else died. Energize 3. Then Energized 4. Then Energize 5 completes your mission. And eventually you'll get to Energize 7 when you get the mission super, like, the one shell stand effect. So this is definitely going to be something where I think that it's going to push Nemesis more into that aggressive angle that he was designed for. I don't think Blue Nemesis is completely going to disappear because the playstyle Energized with Blue still seems like the way to play the long game, but this gives a lot more bursty potential, and especially getting that +1 defense is way more deceptive than you realize, because that means he goes up to 5 defense against leaders without even having an armor or flipping a blue. And then if you have the completed Well I'm Prepared on top of that, now he's 6 defense. Like, he just becomes this wall that's really hard to punch through. And I think Nemesis is going to be a house going forward, which is perfectly something I'm okay with. I love this character. His art is amazing. And yeah, Dark Armaments. I actually got to play an early version of this in our Primus 1v1 event, and every time I played the card, it just felt really good. So this is a card that I expect to, I wouldn't necessarily say warp the metagame, but I definitely expect it to shake things up, and you'll see more aggressive Nemesis Prime teams going forward. So yeah, those were my 3 spoilers today. We had Hound, we had Gears, we had Dark Armaments. I think these are all really nice ways to get orange aggressive Energized strategies or just other new strategies into the game. Let me know what you guys think, and until next time, thanks.